Damos comienzo a la sesión de...
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to start this morning session with a workshop focused in the field of e-learning. I'm going to give the floor to Sonia Maria, Jorge García, Alejandro Rodríguez Arcaso, and Young Thing. Maria, she is a professor of Radio ECA of the Canaria Foundation. She is a professor of the adult learning and she holds more than 20 years of teaching experience. She has held numerous management positions and she is an expert in the use of the new technologies in the field of education. She has designed an ECA system, Design for All, with the aim of providing as much inclusion as possible to people with hearing, visual and physical impairments in one broad educational model by using ICTs as a facilitator to information and communication for everybody, bearing in mind the needs based on the functional diversity, so that on live or lifelong learning it's available for everybody. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much for your presentation, and I'd like to thank the attendees for being here today, getting to know this new system that I'm going to introduce today. I'm going to give you a brief overview of Radio ECA. It's a Canary Island-based foundation born in 1985. It's a non-for-profit organization for adult learning. The leading feature being we have our own teaching and learning system that's allowing individuals to benefit from education, especially those that are. So we are talking about 2,500 people that have attended our lessons and courses. We work in the Canary Islands, Andalusia, Balearic Islands, Extremadura, Valencia, Madrid and Murcia, but we've also entailed new cooperation projects with Cape Verde, Morocco and other countries. We are cooperating with 14 Latin American countries, and we have targeted people with impairments. This is the framework of the ECA system, Design for All. In order to clearly understand this talk, we'd like to give you a demonstration, and you need to know that our system has three elements that need to be simultaneously used. Learning material, the classroom and tutorials. This is the whole scheme. It's like a blackboard for students, and our pupils and students can be guided, and the most relevant content can be summarized. The classroom, it's an audio cast room. It's interactive because there is two professors or teachers giving certain guidelines to students to complete this scheme. And the third element, the tutorials, guaranteeing learning. And we make sure they have no questions or that they are following this properly. What have we done with these three elements in order to make them accessible for hearing, visual and physically impaired people? We will now start with the adaptations of the elements. For example, the classroom and the learning material. What have we done for people with hearing loss? We will have three leading stakeholders, people with impairments, those that have worked with us in this project. We've worked with a cross-functional team. We've been working in this field for 3 years. We have involved the ENG Foundation in this development, SENFE, as well as hearing loss associations, individuals participating as volunteers, as well as other stakeholders that have teamed up with the Radio ICA team in order to test the effectiveness of these applications, and also to guide us through the failures and the pros of this system. We now have a final stage prototype that will be tested in the incoming months. This is one student with hearing loss, and she is using the class interpreted into sign language with subtitles as well. The scheme didn't have any adaptations because it was merely visual. So we've seen that the traditional classroom for hearing impairments is as follows. So the classroom, this lecture is divided into different moments. For those who can listen to the voices, these are the voices of the teachers that are currently giving out this lesson. For those with hearing loss, is a couple of interpreters, man, woman, as it happens in the classroom, trying to interact with the same enthusiasm as the teachers or professors. On in the field of visual impairment. That's another student. She is completely visually impaired. She is now following the class through an audio streaming, and this is she's following the ICA scheme. This was originally developed in an accessible PDF that can be read by the JAW program, and it has some fill-in boxes that the student can fill in. The voice you hear, it's one of the professors reading it, and she has to fill in certain boxes. The schemes are accompanied by images that can be very beneficial to students with the visual or hearing impairment. The person is using exactly the same system as someone with no impairments, but it's been adapted to their reality. So, by way of a summary, the impairment requires accessible PDF material that can be read with screen readers with certain fill-in boxes and a description of the images, as well as other tools that have been included on this platform. And the student might follow it with a JAWS for Windows program, allowing them to walk through the platform easily. Now let's move on to physical impairment. This is a student with physical impairment with a brain paralysis affecting different functions, especially his hands. The main advantage is that the material is completely digital, can be used on the internet. He is using a mouse, a specific mouse that it's a smart nav, and this is a virtual keyboard that can be used to access all the functions of this classroom, like any other students. Just by a very simple digital PDF format that can be fulfilled on the screen, the student can follow every single lecture. They don't need any pens or notebooks whatsoever. This is technology that is adapted to them. They only need this mouse. but they can access the information on the computer. We've already, but also in a written format, because we are always trying to improve the reading competences of our students in order to broaden their possibilities. So this is the way we overcame the problems with the tutorials. How did we solve the problems for the visually impaired students? This is a completely visually impaired student, a student in one tutorial through the platform, and by means of the JAWS for Windows program. She clicks on tutorials. She will also have some aid to properly go and click in to that area by means of certain keywords in the platform. She is typing her query, and the jaw is reading the words she is introducing into the keyboard. Everyone can do it at his or her own rhythm, depending on your IT skills. You might type faster or slower.
Bien, esa es la duda que ella ha expresado a través de la tutoría que su profesor.
That is the query. And the jaw will read the message. In terms of physical impairment, this is the student. This is a group tutorial through the forum. This person is using an adapted mouse despite of their disabled motor skills, but the person can access a virtual keyboard, and he is now clicking until they can, or he can completely write down the query. The system is fully digital, and then the person can choose the most suitable technology. Perhaps some of our students need a jaw mouse, jaw supported mouse, or the sticker mouse, so that if the student is moving his head, the mouse will browse through the screen. And I would like to tell you that feedback is very important for us, and believe me, I didn't force them to tell these things. They did it freely, and when we finished recording the demo, we asked them, what do you think about this project? What is your opinion? And we will now read the opinion of the 3 different students. The hearing impairment person said, this is a wonderful resource, the possibility to access the course no matter how many times, the fact that it's adapted to sign language, she thinks it's wonderful. I've never seen it in any other place. It's a wonderful adaptation. The interpreter apologizes, but she doesn't receive any sound in the booth.
Acceder al aprendizaje como cualquier otra persona sin discapacidad, y al ser por internet, pues.
The fact that it's on the internet facilitates things further, because we can connect from home or from anywhere in the world. As we saw in this demonstration, we have tried to explain what the ICTs mean to people with impairments, namely at an educational level. These are fundamental tools to teach us, to train us, not only as persons, but also at an academic level. I would highly encourage everybody to be fearless with regard to the new technologies. Quite the opposite. They are fundamental to our personal development. Thank you.
Bien, lo que hemos querido explicar con este proyecto es la intención.
The aim of this project is to promote this fundamental right, ongoing, lifelong learning for everybody. Presentation was very brief because we do not have much time for this presentation, but please do not hesitate to ask any questions regarding this project. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention, and I'm fully available for anything you might need. Thank you very much. Sonia, big applause for her.
Bueno, pues continúa el siguiente ponente.
I'm now going to give the floor to Alejandro, and there will be a Q&A session afterwards.
Bueno, a continuación me acompaña Alejandro.
I'm going to give the floor to Alejandro Rodríguez Acaso, the Professor of Artificial Intelligence of the Distance Learning University, and he is a member of the ADENO group. His research is in the field of accessibility and usability of e-learning, telecare, and based on the user's experience in the use of ICTs, always used to support a fully independent life. He has published numerous papers and publications, and he's been a researcher in European and international projects. He is a professor of different lectures, the use and application of technology, the design, production of ICTs in the support to independent life. He's been part of numerous activities in e-accessibility of the European Telecommunications Standards Institution, and he's currently coordinating a working group entitled 133 Telecommunications. He is a member of the scientific board of this Drt4all conference, and I will like to give the floor to him. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank this conference for allowing me to present this work, and I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for being here today, but also those connected through streaming. The presentation I'm going to do today is highly related to the future, because we strongly believe that the future technologists, IT engineers, telecommunication engineers know what accessibility means. As Guillermo Fesser put it yesterday, education, this type of education needs to be fostered in primary and secondary education, but most importantly, our technologies have to be provided with the necessary tools for them to appreciate the value of diversity and for them to include into their IT or telecom project the needs of each and every user. Certain acts and rules guarantee the enforcement thereof. The INDAO Act, there's numerous papers and literature in this regard. On the Foundation in 2004, along with the IMSERSO, published the white paper on diversity, and we've had an excellent opportunity with the Bologna process to bring about this change of mindset. It is sad, but one report put it, accessibility is not guaranteed in most universities. The distance learning university is one exception. I will talk about this further. On the other hand, the universities, by law, have to make everything accessible for students with and without impairments. There's numerous rules, the UNLAW and the LOU, the Organic Universities Laws, on the Article 24. However, the reality is very harsh. Just by way of example, I'd like to display a study that has been published on Discapnet regarding the web accessibility in e-learning platforms and university platform, and this is highly discouraging. Web contents are not accessible, let alone the websites themselves. This is a challenge facing universities in its whole, but also the distance learning university. Please, those that are somehow related to the university world, please think about those that you deem to be excellent universities in Europe, Asia, or the US. Just take a look at those. Take a look at the support services to impaired students, and it is highly related. So the conclusion is excellence requires accessibility. One report of the Quality and Excellence Plan in the UK has an entire chapter devoted to accessibility. And we have 200,000 students all around the world. 7,000 of them have certain degree of impairment, and we shall entitle our students to access all these type of materials. As I said before, the technologies have to facilitate the lives of our students. They can access or they should access these materials through their iPads or smartphones. In the distance learning university, we are tremendously pleased because in the next week we will start lecturing human factors engineers in the IT systems under the umbrella of the IT engineering department, with the aim of applying these type of methodologies, taking into account human factors related to usability and accessibility, in order to provide user requirements and to assess the accessibility and usability of these applications. Our research group, ADENU, has launched numerous videos with the following aim. Certain distance learning university students, undergrads, they need to assess the tools to access the technologies and the different tools they have used. We have numerous videos, the introduction, videos or materials specifically designed for hearing impaired people, visually impaired people, people with reduced mobility, those who use a voice recognition device, people with brain paralysis. This is a very complex case where we touched upon communication support and PC or laptop support materials. We have to lead by example. Not only do we have to talk about accessibility, we also have to be accessible. That is the reason why we have introduced all the necessary adaptations: subtitles, audio description, sign language interpretation and transcription, with compliance of INOR, which are pioneer guidelines around the world. We have fostered close cooperation between the different professionals, the audiovisual department of the distance learning university, UNED, and obviously with the students. audio description, for example, our colleagues from the CECID are very clear about it. We had to work hand in hand with the multimedia producers. I know that audio description requires the inclusion of the information in those boxes, those video recorded boxes. And last but not least, the material is open source by accessing the following website that I'll display afterwards. And I'm going to play a video now. Could you please turn up the volume? The interpreter apologizes, but we do not receive enough sound in our booth.
Bueno, esa es parte del vídeo de introducción donde tuvimos la suerte de contar con Javier Romagnac y con...
Javier Romagnac and Guillermo Fesser were discussing certain issues regarding the right to be different, the right to be full citizens of full right, and the right to access ICTs.
La pantalla del GPS indica la posición actual del coche y la indicación de girar a la derecha.
Ahí habéis podido escuchar la audiodescripción. Hemos tenido cuidado de audiodescribir los aspectos.
We've audio described fundamental aspects for the IT engineers. We described the main features. This is a driver and with a screen reader allowing drivers to drive safely just by listening to the information.
Quienes no pueden escuchar los mensajes sonoros, por ejemplo, quienes escuchan música mientras viajan.
La pantalla muestra el nombre de la próxima parada.
También nos hemos preocupado de...
We also try to put in place equivalence between the support systems and accessibility solutions that we all use in a daily basis. As you can see, this student can hear the music, and in case he doesn't know at bus was stopped to get off, he has a screen on the bus that will tell him at what stop he should get off the bus. This is a similar situation as the one that a deaf person would have.
Felipe selecciona una dirección web para su navegador. Para ello combina pulsaciones de su barbilla con un sistema de barrido de la pantalla cuya dirección y velocidad también puede controlar.
A la hora de iniciar el sistema de reconocimiento de voz para escribir un documento, entonces se ha abierto el procesador de textos y le doy a encender. Querida Margarita, coma.
Después de ser pronunciadas, las frases aparecen escritas en el documento.
Van genial.
Bien, ese era el...
So that was an excerpt of the video. I will tell you the address to have access to it, the web address to access it. The learning objectives have been divided into objectives and sub-objectives, and we have analyzed how those objectives fit into the main documents that throughout the world are devoted to the descriptors that all engineers use when they work in this field, or if those engineers don't work in this field, nevertheless they want to comply with the existing regulation, they need to comply with these standards. So we find ourselves well positioned vis-a-vis what the Association for the Computer Machinery says, or the IBC Net project says too. We have also realized that we even included contents which are not very frequent in this type of learning corpuses, for instance, organizational issues. We have seen how video conference was used to call up a professor to make a query
through the intermediation service offered by the Foundation. As you can see here, there are no advanced technological solutions used here. Nevertheless, these are organizational solutions to put in collaboration two organizations that can serve this purpose. So also we need to take into account instructional design that they use. There's a series of activities in which students, for instance, make tests to see if they have grasped accessibility and usability principles through these videos. In IT person-to-person systems, they also use this to know what requests users have. They're establishing user requirements so that they can be implemented in design and assessment processes. And just to conclude, what I showed to you is part of a subject that has to do with design for all in the IT field. Professors from international and national levels have participated. There's open access to this. You have these presentations available in the Congress's website, and you will see that there are adaptations that have been implemented in order to guarantee accessibility. So since we have this, what are we going to do with it? Well, we are going to use it in the course which is about to start. It's quite long, so I'd rather send you an email. And it's also part of the presentation, but I can give it to you directly now because I have my laptop here, so I can send it to you. If you write ACW support products or productos de apoyo, sorry, in Google, you will be able to find it. We have another challenge ahead of us right now. We're putting together an accessible player to encompass all adaptations. This is something which is not very frequent. Our colleagues from Carlos III University have created one. We are also working on creating a good player, so that's a challenge that we're working on. We want contents to be customized. We want to put in place alternatives, and also we have plans to create a massive course, which are called MOOCs, MOOCs. And now we're looking for strategic partners in order to have as much impact as possible, because at UNED, the long-distance university, we consider this to be a subject that could be very relevant, not just in Spain, but also in Latin America. So without further ado, I would like to thank students and professors from the UNED who have participated, CEAPAP, FIAPAS, ADAMAR, the Centro Dato. And I would also like to say that we are very happy because we have received 2 distinctions, one from the University Foundation. This award has to do with the OCW program, and also we received another Open Courseware award regarding our multimedia contents. So thank you very much for your time and attention. Thank you very much, Alejandro. Now we're going to have the next speaker. His name is Yong Chen. Yong Chen has a degree in mechanics and automation, a master's degree in robotics and advanced systems, and a master's in technology and capacity building from the universities of Paris 8. He's going to present to us a work called Shape Recognition with Extended Usage Devices.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm sorry for I don't speak Spanish. I shall speak in English to do this presentation. And my name is Chen Yung. I'm a PhD student in Paris 8 University in Paris. So I work with Mr. Jaime Lopez-Kay, and I'm working in a laboratory named the team of Paris 8 University. Donc, our laboratory is a laboratory research for the handicapped peoples. So I'm so happy to be here for this presentation, and it's my pleasure to be here for this wonderful conference. So the title of this presentation is Shape Recognition, Image Analysis, and Artificial Vision for Blind People Using Mainstream Device. So we're beginning with the plan. So firstly, I will talk about the objective of this work, and then we have three main aspects for this work. So we have also some experiments and results that we have done, and I will show you also a video for the demonstration, and finally is the conclusion and the future work. So for the objective, in our work, the purpose is to try to establish a process which can automatically transform the visual information of an image, a map, in accessible information for the blind people. For example, we have a map here. So we have the different elements. We have the colors, we have the different area, we have the shapes, and we have also the text. So we translate this element into another version, like the second image. We have the different texture area, and we have the bright, and we also have the reinforced contour. Once we have this black-white image, this image will be painted by a special specific painter. So finally, we got a tactile image for the blind people. So actually, this process is done manually by using some specific software like Photoshop. It's very it takes time, and it's required always the user to know how to use the software. So we want to establish processes to more automatic by using some technology of image processing, like the technology of the image segmentation, the shape recognition, the text detection. So the first part of our work is image segmentation. We have chosen the method named FCM to do this work because this method required always to know the number of output class. So we added a step of prediction of class numbers. We are also the step of post-treatment. So this step can be used to improve the segmentation result, and it can also simplify and reinforce the contour and field area by different textures. So we have an example here. We have an image color. So we segment. We do the segmentation with the method we have chosen. And finally, we have another version of the image, which have the different texture area. So the second part of this work is the shape recognition. The shapes in a map is a very important element for the people, so experience a lot of information. Like it presents some different, for example, the name of cities, the location of some building. Also in the caption, it brings some information by using the specific shapes also. So we want to detect and identify these shapes to transform this shape in another way. So we do this work by using the fuzzy algorithm. We try to get some properties of the shapes, like the number of vertices and the relationship between the, for example, the convex hull and the surface. So for each class remand, we apply the fuzzy algorithm to each shapes. Here we have an example, and we have the result. So the last part of this work, of our work, is text detection. So we tested 3 methods, and this is the wavelet filter. Is the first method that which we used. This is a suborn image of a decomposition with a wavelet filter. So this image will be separated in some little block, and for each block, we calculate the standard deviation of the respective histogram. So the text area will be funded by the higher volume of the standard deviation than the other blocks. The second method which we used is named RASA. This is a method which is based on the properties of the text, of which distance between the letters, words, and line. So these two methods are very fast, and especially the second one can give us a very good result of text detection. But they require always the user to choose the good property parameters to have a good result. We want to process more automatic, so we decide to use another method named stockwise transform. This is a method of automatic text detection, and it uses the stockwise volume. It is an almost constant feature that can separate the text area from the other element. So it can be used to find the text regions, regardless of its size, direction, font, color, and a lot of language. So we have, for example, we have the lot of letters here in the image. They have different size, and we got the ENG image of these letters. And if the letters have the same size, so in the last image you will present by the same gray level. So this is the interface we created by with MATLAB. So for now, so far this software can be used to do the image segmentation and do the shape recognition. Here is an example and the result, and we have another one. So in the right image, this is the image is printed on the paper. So I will show you a demonstration. To show how does this software works. So we choose an image, and we choose the space of colors, which can give us a good, better result. And we do the prediction of color numbers. We can also give the color numbers manually. We do the segmentation. So it gives us the result. we chosen the result, we chosen the better one. So here we have the different class, and for each class we simplify the contour. So we do the shape recognition. And then we fill the area by the different texture. So the size of the texture can be modified, so we can have the best result. So we have the result for this class, and we do the same thing for the other class. And finally, we got an image like this. So, with the software, to do the process of transformation, it needs only about 10 minutes. So it's very fast and very easy to use it. So at last, for the conclusion. Now, our software is not fully automatic, so we need to do more tests and more experiments to improve it, to make it more automatically. And we are finishing and optimizing the software. We are also preparing a test with blind people, with other users. And we are trying to also find the new technologies which can be used to improve our work. For example, there is a new technology for the tablet. With this technology, the people can feel the different textures by touching the screen of the tablet. So it's very interesting to use it, and I think we can find always a new technology. So that's all for this presentation. Thank you again, and have a nice day.
Bueno, pues al menos 5 minutos para alguna.
We can devote at least 5 minutes to questions that may arise in the room for any of our speakers. There are no questions. Everything was crystal clear, apparently. To whom do you want to address the question? I have a question for each speaker. My name is Matias Sanchez. I work in the world of technology accessibility, and I also have a visual disability. I have a low vision rate, and I have a question for the first speaker. First of all, Sonia. Hello, Sonia. It's about the different terms that you were showing. These are tools that are made available for students to access public education, or this is specific education provided for the students? We are a private, so partly our education is formal and it has to do with secondary education fulfillment, but also we provide a high-level education, and there's also a course catalog that we have available to improve the learning corpus. And this learning corpus takes into account over 300 learning actions. Teaching through the internet has made it available for us to make this step that we had been wanting to make for many years. What we're doing right now is to further develop these tools, and these tools are mainly learning tools. We harness what's already developed so that we can reach this type of profiles through this approach. We have learning tools which are allocated in the virtual assistance department, which is hosted in our platform. This department has sections depending on the visibility, so each individual can select the most suitable tools for him or her in order to access contents and the whole learning and teaching process. Right now we are in a phase in which we are adapting the learning actions, and hopefully through this approach the tools will improve as we use them. We hope to extend this further and further to the whole catalog. And this is why we're trying to get the resources that enable us to do so. Congratulations. I would like to really congratulate you because this is a very enriching piece of work. Another question for Alejandro. Hello, Alejandro. We've known each other for quite a few years already. At UNED, the long-distance university, I've always heard, and I'm a student of this university, I've always heard about it, and I'm proud of what it is. There are 7,000 students with disabilities. It is the top-ranking university along those lines, and I'm very proud of it. Nevertheless, I see that some figures don't really match up. For instance, for the third cycle, they only had 18 students with disabilities. The UNED still needs to take some steps forward. And along those lines, I would like to pose the following questions. Just as you have the Adenu platform to have access to those contents, how do disabled students reach UNED, the long-distance university? Because the platform is accessible, but prior to that, the university building should be accessible. Both sides of your question are interrelated. In part, I'm very proud to be part of UNED, and I'm very proud of the efforts that it makes to service people with disabilities, but of course there's a long way to go still. As it stands today and in the future, we need to make an effort to work on the parts that can be improved. As you very well said, access to registration processes, access to our educational program. Many things can be improved, but truth be told, there is a lot of internal acknowledgement and a lot of resources, and most importantly, many professionals that work in our service, and they do their work very well. Nevertheless, from here, we need to demand more resources, and we need to make accessibility more visible, and we want it to be in the first page for our managers. Now that we have our members in the rector's office, it is the adequate time to make us heard. I am a professor at UNED, and I have contact with many disabled students, and between all of us, we must manage to make this need more visible. Something that's important in this field and that actually lasts support is approaches for postgraduate degrees. Master students which are not undertaking an undergraduate degree sometimes don't receive the support that other students receive. This is something that we need to highlight. Also, from the formal point of view, for instance, a person with a disability has more problems to request a scholarship from the ministry, because the deadlines for disabled students to finish a degree, for instance, are different than those timelines for students who are not disabled. So there should be exceptions put in place for disabled students to request those scholarships. So I'm from UNED. This is our motto for our 40th anniversary, and we're very proud of it, but there's still a lot of things to do. Thank you very much. I agree with you, but thank you very much for your comments. And I wanted to also ask a question to the other speaker, if possible. Mr. Cheng Yong, where is he? If you want, we can speak in English, Mr. Cheng. I've been observing your tool. It's a very good tool. It has to do with text detection, color detection. It's wonderful, but something comes to mind. I've been working on technology, and this is my question. What's the price? Because accessibility should not only be accessible for me because I have a low vision rate, but also it needs to be cost effective. This project has several phases. The first phase, which is currently being tested, is image processing at school level for visually impaired children who are part of regular classes or courses. School manuals contain images, and for those images to be accessible, the process was manual until now. So we thought that quite simply, through IT approaches, we could try to supply more swiftness to this type of conversions. And currently the ongoing test that we are undertaking show that you can reduce by 5 the processing time for these images. These images are especially graphs, maps, plans, and indeed, having low vision doesn't have to do with touch sensitivity. And there's a series of rules that we need to take into account. From the touch approach, you will be able to differentiate 5 or 6 different textures. We will need to highlight contours also. And also, we will have to introduce Braille information in these images to match the key, the map key. Of course, the cost in this case needs to be divided by 5. So it means that you can process 5 more images with the same resources. Indeed, in France, there's quite a gap at this level. Entities that deal with this type of images cannot do everything. They do pieces of work, but they cannot deal with all images. So, as I was saying earlier, this is currently in the test lab, and it'll be implemented undoubtedly later on. But we need to be more future-sighted. Why couldn't a blind person access Google Earth? Everybody can use it, so why shouldn't he? And it should be done in an automated manner. It's impossible to try to deliver complete information as it stands today, the information that a person that sees can access. But at least we can provide useful information this is what my colleague has been explaining. We have introduced a series of known elements for shape recognition, text recognition, texture recognition, contour recognition at the medium level and at a higher level too. But this is not a regular text as the one that you would read. It's a text which is embedded in an image. You must know that there's a text in there and what it means, so that we don't confuse it with a tree line, for instance. And the final phase for the long term would seek the goal of incorporating through tablets this type of technologies. And indeed, next week we will be able to tackle this type of research because we have been given resources for this purpose. We need to complete because we need to start the next workshop and we need to abide by our schedule. So we will be able to break for coffee later on.